Are Gen Z the most stressed generation in the workplace? Nearly all workers are struggling to cope with economic precarity and professional stress. Yet the youngest workers may be feeling the strain more than anyone. The global strain of what some call a perma-crisis impacts workers of all ages, yet many researchers and experts posit that Gen Z are the most stressed cohort in the workplace overall. According to Cigna International Health's 2023 survey of almost 12,000 workers around the world, 91% of 18 to 24-year-olds report being stressed, compared to 84% on average. Research indicates Gen Z are emerging as the most stressed demographic in the workplace and struggling mightily to cope. Data from a 2023 report by HR software company Workhuman shows the cost of living crisis is causing 84% of UK workers stress and anxiety. There are similar trends across the globe, including in Ireland, the US and Canada. Yet while these concerns are widespread, Gen Z appears to be struggling most acutely. October 2022 data from McKinsey & Company shows that employed Gen Zers were more likely than other respondents, 26% versus 20%, to report their pay did not enable them to have a good quality of life in the current economy. These effects are already evident. Gen Z are saving significantly less money, and many are living paycheck to paycheck. They're also struggling more than other generations to hit essential milestones, like home ownership. In the US, for instance, some 34% of Americans don't and never expect to own a home. Beyond the large-scale stressors, experts say young workers are struggling with interpersonal relationships. For university-aged Gen Zers, many were forced to finish their degrees in isolating, fully virtual learning environments during the pandemic, only to transition directly into a precarious economic situation and unusual workplace conditions, complete with the threat, and often, the reality, of furlough or redundancy. Indeed, data indicates young workers are feeling ill-equipped within the workplace overall. Only 43% of Gen Z feel extremely confident, perfectly capable in every aspect of their role, compared to 59% of Gen Y, millennials, Gen X and boomers. Additionally, in data from a 2022 global survey of more than 10,000 workers, conducted by work management platform Asana, Gen Z respondents said they were unable to switch off from work at a disproportionately higher rate than previous generations. The McKinsey data shows young people are also more concerned than any other demographic about the stability of their employment, 45% of Gen Zers versus 40% of all respondents. The fact that the youngest people in the workplace are struggling to keep their heads above water should alarm everyone. In the short term, Gen Z's stress is leading to ambivalence and withdrawal in their professional lives. According to 2022 data from Gallup, they are the most disengaged group at work. They also report more overall stress and work-related burnout than other cohorts. In the long term, this stress and burnout will influence job performance and career growth as well as increase the likelihood that workers will simply quit. It's already a tempting prospect for the youngest workers. In the US, for instance, 61% of US workers who responded to the December 2022 LinkedIn survey are considering leaving their jobs in 2023, leaping to 72% among Gen Zers, by far the most significant group. Globally, McKinsey's research showed 77% of Gen Zers are looking for a new job, almost double the rate of other respondents. By 2025, Gen Z will make up 27% of the workforce in OECD countries, and one-third of the global population. However, taking the strain off the youngest workers is a challenge for which there is no quick fix, say experts, as the current environment stays in flux. Easing Gen Z's workplace burdens will be impossible without addressing their overall mental health too, which, like the economy, remains in perma-crisis. Such a multifaceted issue requires an approach on many levels, but employers have a significant role to play. Gen Z may also need to try to get out of their comfort zones to reduce their stress by speaking out about their struggles. For now, external factors may mean Gen Z will continue to struggle with stress in the workplace. Is it impossible to end burnout? Amid lockdowns, caring responsibilities and a public health emergency, global data shows more workers reported feeling chronic stress and exhaustion. According to a March 2021 study of 1,500 U.S. workers by hiring platform Indeed, 67% of respondents believed burnout had increased during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet, 3 years on, there are few signs burnout is abating. In the new world of work, large swaths of the workforce still say they're burnt out. Rates continue to climb. In a February 2023 survey of 10,243 global workers by U.S. think tank Future Forum, 42% reported burnout, its highest figure since May 2021. Conversations around burnout have increased, and companies seem to be more willing to offer employees perks such as gym memberships and home office expenses that, intuitively, should help mitigate stressors driving burnout. But despite these factors, reports of burnout are still on the rise, and the phenomenon can no longer be solely associated with the pandemic. Given this, experts say it may be the case that employers and workers need to instead focus on managing burnout, rather than aim to eliminate it entirely. Data has been a part of this evolution in attitude. A May 2021 study by WHO and the International Labour Organization suggested that an estimated 750,000 people die annually from ischemic heart disease and stroke, due to working long hours. Major causes of burnout include prolonged heavy workloads, sustained overworking and toxic cultures. Alongside high rates, some experts believe broader economic concerns mean burnout is likely to stick around longer term. The ongoing childcare crisis and enduring instability is also a compounding factor across the globe for parents particularly. One May 2022 report from The Ohio State University showed 66% of U.S. working parents meet the criteria for burnout. As long as there are workplaces that cause workers to experience chronic stress, overwork and long hours, burnout is here to stay. In some cases, change could come in the form of legislation. For example, new laws in Australia now classify burnout as a work health and safety hazard, meaning bosses are legally obliged to identify and manage risks that may cause employee work-related stress, from peak periods of high workload to excessive working hours. However, such measures could take time, especially on a global scale, and there's no guarantee they'll convince employers to overhaul their working practices, anyway. Going forward, experts still say the goal should still be to eradicate burnout. Even if it may be unrealistic, its pursuit remains worthwhile. It could help reduce its most harmful effects, and mean fewer workers ever have to experience it. Mitigation is always better than doing nothing.